it's lights out and very good. It's a good start from both Mata and Cobb. Getting the bear exit and both of them spun simultaneously. Heading into the camel straight, still going side by side as well. Side by side into the Curva Grande. Are they going to keep it side by side with Iceman? Yuri going for the dive bomb. Can he make it work? He's gone off a bit. And look at that. Oh, right here, right now. Otherwise, the undercut will not work. It's going to be very, very close. Iceman just gets ahead of Kyle there. Mata comes across the line, and he's your VSL Season 6 champion. Good evening, everybody, and welcome along to VSL F1 Season 7. This is round number 8, and we head to the home of British Motorsport in Silverstone. It is, of course, the British Grand Prix. It has a lot of history and heritage, and it's very prestigious, and it provides a lot of action, and it may throw some typical British weather. We'll have to wait and see if that happens later on. My name is Jess, and joining me as per usual, we've got Red Matt. Matt, how you doing?
Hi, I'm not doing too bad. How are you? I thought I'd keep you waiting there.
You always panic me there, but yeah, I'm doing great. Thanks. Been a busy day, but we're ready to kick off with some action. And we got full grid as well. Quite a few reserve drivers, but everyone is still racing. That is good. So Formula One first hosted, obviously, Silverstone in 1950. Like I said earlier, it's been in the calendar pretty much every year, and it's hosted some brilliant racing. There was the layout where obviously Copse Corner was turn 1, but now obviously Abbey is turn 1. I'm not going to say which one I preferred. That will be a matter for a different day, but there's just so many iconic corners such as Copse Corner, Baggett and Beckett section, Hanger Straight, Stowe. There's lots of overtaking opportunities, and there's not many braking zones either. Most of the lap can be taken full throttle, and it was quite a crazy race last season as well here, but I've seen a lot of people tend to prefer this track compared to last game, and I think you have been one of them. You tend to like this track on this game.
Oh yeah, I absolutely love this track, and so does Kyle, looking in the chat. No, he doesn't. He absolutely hates it. But no, again, another track I've won out in this year's game, and especially through, Maggett, Beckett onto Chapel. When you get those corners right, it's absolutely lush. But yeah, I'm glad I didn't have to do this track in the wet.
Yes, I think I drove a little bit in the wet, and it's all right. I like it in the wet, but in the dry, I was absolutely horrible. But again, another topic for another day. So I'm trying to find someone that's about to start a lap, and it would help if I get the scene up, so we are good to go on that front. So strategy is going to be either soft to medium or medium to soft. And yeah, Matt Ryan is on a lap now, so he heading through Abbey and now heading towards Farm, heading towards the heavy braking zone of turn 2 and 3, and now heading towards the arena section of turn 4, and now heading to the famous Wellington straight where the first of the DRSs appear. We're going to try and make sure you get as close to the right as you possibly can as you head towards Brooklands. You need to brake roughly about 100 metres, 75 metres around here, and then to get your front left tyre on the black and white curbs. And now, as we do have some yellow flags, I will get the track map in a minute, but we'll stay on board with Matt Ryan as he heads past Woodcombe, landing into Copse Corner. You don't need to live round it if you get the turn absolutely right, but if you get the turn absolutely wrong, you will have to lift, as I found out a few times on this game. It seems Matt Ryan seems to be doing okay so far. Now heading towards Maggett, then Beckett, and then heading in towards the Chapel Corner. Very, very precise corners you got to take. And now heading towards Stowe from the Hanger Straight, almost 200 miles per hour into 8th gear. He seems to be doing pretty alright with ERS as well. I wonder if he was saving a little bit, or will he derate across the line? We will watch as he heads through Vale and into Club. Flexley sets the fastest lap so far, but what could Matt Ryan do? He comes across the line and it's a 1:28.895, and it was invalidated. I should have had the track map, but at least I went on board with him on a lap anyway. And Panos, who did very well last week, he sets the benchmark time at the moment.
Yeah, the track's still got a lot of time to rubber him. I was looking between like the low 26, maybe high 25s. But I don't know if I'm being a bit too optimistic here. But yeah, it's 127.5. There's definitely a lot more time to find for these drivers as Dave goes P3 and 127.7. But really, for your first lap, you just want to get a lap on the board.
Yeah, Dave almost did really, really well in Austria, but he did get involved in a few incidents which did hurt his race a little bit, and we kind of had a bit of a hype moment and then it went downhill, so we didn't really want to say too much after that because otherwise Dave would have been involved in many more spins. But his qualifying's looking good, 127.7. Pete's lap time's looking quite good on the mediums actually. He's the only driver that set his best lap time on the mediums. Yuri set a lap, but he's invalidated, unfortunately. Someone did spin. That was, I think, Kev on his out lap, I believe. So, at least he moved out the way of the likes of Yuri. So, and obviously Kev was one of the nominees for Driver of the Day last week. I believe he got it from the poll. He finished third after starting 17th position. And I don't think he got a podium before last week, so it's his first podium of the season and in a while VSL. And House is going again for another lap, and he's going even quicker. So does that strongly suggest that we could see rain in the race?
Yeah, I was looking at the chat, and some driver put a very friendly message in saying something rain. So yeah. Is it full wets or intermediates? I hopefully for the drivers intermediates, full wets will, well, be absolutely treacherous.
Well, we saw it was dry last season, so it's nice to have it different in the wet, of course. And I'm a bit curious as to why Pete and Yuri are on the mediums, but I'm guessing they don't want to use the softs straight away to make sure they have 3 lap times on the board as well. Plus, they get to start on the same tyre, so they get free strategy. But Silverstone is not too bad of a tyre wear anyway, so most people would want to qualify on the softs anyway, and it is obviously one stop regardless anyway. And if it's full wets, technically, because the hards could almost make the full race, so could the full wets, and the full wets can pretty much my last 25, 26 laps. So, and with the full wets, they don't have to do any stops, I believe. So, 0 stops. Someone could try that if they want to. I'll be very brave to do so because I can't do it in the full wets to save my life. So, fair play to people that do it. So Cab is on a lap right now. He heads towards Stowe corner. He seems to take the corner absolutely fine as well. Watch out for the left-hand side, as many people, including myself, in another league about a month ago, do tend to invalidate after Stowe corner. But Kev comes across the line. A 128.2, he improves to P6. Not so shabby for him. And I do believe we have a Haskar who's about to start his lap, I believe, or he's about to go into the pits. I'm not entirely sure, but we have an Aston Martin of Slenderman who is filling in this week. Did really well in France when he was filling in, so he was invited back. Unfortunately, he has invalidated. Next across the line, I believe it will be Kyle as he heads past Chapel now. He is a driver that likes his track in the pass as well, and seems to be getting a lot better on the game as the game goes on. He started off a bit slow, but the more he's got used to it, the better that he's become. So this could be the turning point for the ERT driver. Into Val he goes now. I didn't see what his set to 2 time was though, but his set to 3 is looking really astonishing at the moment. So what can he do? 128.0, only P6, and it's just a few temps shy of Pete's time. That was set on the mediums. Yeah, Pete, but lap time was set on the memes, and I think Yuri's best lap time was set on the memes as well. Kieran has set a time, but it's not representative, but at least he's got a lap time on the board.
Got Matter about to start a lap, just coming through the last couple of corners now. He's yet to set a lap, so I don't think this will be a full-on push lap yet. But he's got a nice bit of space on the track at the moment, so let's wait and see what Matter can do.
Yeah, Matter, of course, our reigning champion from last season. He's had a bit of unlucky moments in VSL this season compared to last, and he obviously dominated the last 2 seasons. Not really dominating this season. He's further down as well, and he saw his teammate get a podium last week as well, and Mata is only sitting in 5th place. It is a long season, so there's still a long time to recover for the Williams driver, but he sure would want to have much better races to come. But again, we'll see how he does with Silverstone as well. Purple sector 1. So he is pushing. He did get pole, I believe, I think was it France? Yes, it was France. He got pole position. We do have, I think, is it Ryan? No, Ryan's going on an out lap. Tony's about to start his lap. So let's stay on board with Matt. I think we got an AlphaTauri. In the middle of his lap, Matt Ryan is on 4 lap old softs. Fair play to them as well. I think there was a time in Silverstone where I went on 2 or 3 lap old softs accidentally as someone is about to start. Iceman, where did that lap time come from? 1:27.4. He can't sense the benchmark.
He's quite quick around here.
He is quite quick, Iceman. He does really well in the time trial, so not really that surprised, but can Mata beat Iceman and knock him off and go on the top step for now?
Nice.
Yes, he does by 1/10.
Yeah, I was just saying when I was watching his lap, he didn't do turn 1 flat out, which I wonder if he's still not confident with the car, but he can easily do turn 1 flat out. I want to say who does turn 1 flat out. Got Sam that I think's on an out lap at the moment. It's Pete.
Pete set his first lap on the source, because don't forget his first lap time was on the medium, so that's pretty good for him. And I think we're getting to the crunch time of people going on to the medium compounder tyres. Hayden has invalidated, unfortunately, so he's not going to set a lap. Tony is going through slow. His lap looks fine so far and tidy, and I don't think it's going to be an invalidation. No, it's not. So he's heading towards the final few corners now. He is in last position out of all the runners so far. Kieran improved to P10 with a 1:28.2, but Tony improved to 1:27.9. And then we've got, I think, Tony's teammate, Ryan Berry, come across the line, 1:27.9 as well. So they're not far off each other. We got Mercedes next. It's not Kev, it's his teammate, Ahmed, who has derailed across the line. Only puts in P10. Next will be a Ferrari. Last week's race winner of Panos. Can he get another race win? He does improve, but I think he invalidated, unfortunately. And I think we've got another Ferrari as well. That is Lee. Lee comes across the line. We do have another AlphaTauri as well. He goes into the pits. Lee comes across the line. 1:27.5. P7 for now. So very close.
Sam just about to finish the first sector, who currently is the championship leader, only by 3 points though, with Panos quite close behind, so it's quite a tight battle there. But then you got a bit of a gap forming now between P3 and 6th in the standings of Ryan Berry, Kyle, Mata and Acorn. Deck will be happy being so close to Mata, given like Mata's pace, but Deck's been finishing, and Mata's, I think, has he had 2 DNFs this season?
I think he's had 2 DNFs in a row, because obviously he had the glitch in France where the lobby was playing up and he couldn't get back in, and he DNF'd in Austria as well. We didn't call it on stream, but the VSL Twitter account caught it, and we were able to see his POV. It looked nasty, to be honest, but I think Mata wants us to forget what happened to him last week, as if we've had a few twitches from some drivers today. As I think we've got a few more people going into the pits. That's Panos. Ryan Berry has unfortunately invalidated. We have one of the McLarens, Flexi. He has derated. That's cost him a few attempts, but that puts him in P3. Slenderman, our reserve driver, still on pole.
I'm really sorry. When did it? I didn't get notified for being on pole.
I didn't as well, so I wasn't paying attention. But Slenderman was going quicker, but he goes into the pits, and Matt Ryan's about to start his out lap as well. Deck is looking pretty good so far in P8. He has invalidated though. Tut Deck. Deck has got some podiums this season, and he's currently sitting P6. Kyle's in P4 in the championship. He's looking good in sector 2. In the final sector, he's looking good as well. Only P10.
Oh, there's purple middle sector on my screen, but
purple sector 2 does not mean anything sometimes, because I know when I race in qualifying, I usually get that false hope that I'm purple sector 1 or 2, but then when I go back to the garage, it's not. So it's just a game telling a bit of a porcupine at the moment. But Hayden is going on his out lap again. Only driver yet to set a lap time, but everyone else has set a lap time. And to put it into perspective, the top 14 separated by almost a second.
Wow, that's very tight indeed. Look at all of them in the 1:27. Are we going to see a 1:26? Well, 2 minute 50 now. The track will be at its peak. Have to sit back and watch it happen.
Yeah, the track will be at its most grippiest. It is the calm before the storm here at Silverstone, as Panos and Dave want to get out as early as they can, of course. And so does the Red Bull, I think, of... Is it right? Yuri? Yeah, it is Yuri. That is our... I thought it was his teammate Newgarden, but it is Yuri. Hayden's out as well. Obviously, he was the first one out, but I think the banker laps could mean anything, because sometimes I've seen in league races, the banker laps that they set towards the middle of qualifying may be enough, and it will give you confidence, but I think we could see people on low fuel modes go even quicker. I'm almost certain the two McLarens want to go quicker, as they're currently sitting top of the constructors' standings. We'll go through the standings after qualifying during that our 2-minute interlude. Luckily, Panos only invalidated his out lap and not his flying lap, because it wouldn't have looked good if it was his flying lap that he invalidated. Mike's looking good so far. He's currently in P9 in qualifying so far, but he's not doing too well in the standings. At least he's in the first page of the standings, though. He's currently sitting in 19th on 12 points, but I'm sure he'll be hoping for more points this season. Maybe this could be the race to turn it around for Mike and maybe get himself higher up the grid.
Yeah, look at all the cars now backing up in the last sector. I'm just riding on board with Dave at the moment. It's looking quite a strong lap at the moment. Riding on board with the AlphaTauri driver, Matt Ryan, down there 1:28.0. So it's still quite tight, really. I don't know who's going to be on pole.
Yeah, I think this is going to be one of the closest qualifyings we've seen in a while. So watch out, fasten your seatbelts, and make sure you predict in the chat who you think is going to get pole position. So Dave is looking quite good. He almost invalidated through Stowe. He may have got a bit of dirty air from one of the cars in front. That was
Matter, I think.
That was Matter, but that might have helped him a little bit. P2. He probably might thank Matter after this and give him a cup or a beer or something like that. But it depends how old he is. But anyway, checker flag is about to drop, and Newgarden has either binned it somewhere or is retired in the pits. He's binned it to end of sector 1. So he's not going to carry on with qualifying. And I think we've got a few people crossing the line for their final laps. Let's see who is first. Mike is slowing down, but where is his teammate Kieran? The checker flag has dropped for him, so P8, last week's race winner, can only manage second. What about Iceman? The Silverstone Merchant could only manage P6. Yuri could only manage 10th position. Slender Man, who's currently fastest, he was going to be the first man to the 126s, but he invalidated. Next, we got the two Alfa Romeos. Cut off, could only manage 13th. What about his teammate, though? I don't think it's going to be pole, and I don't think it's going to be an improvement. Actually, it is an improvement. P11, which could mean anything. Lee only managed 13th. Mike, what can he do? 141.2, so he does not improve. Then we have... Do we have another AlphaTauri? No, that's Dave. I'm just trying to see if anyone else is improving. Tony could be improving, though. He passed sector 2. We got the two McLarens as well. But let's watch Tony first, as he heads towards the final corner. He's currently 16th. Can he slot himself into the top 10? Yes, he can for now. But what about the two McLarens? They're giving himself the slipstream. Peace on pole. What a great lap. First man to the 126s. But can Sam beat it? Nope, he can't. But he's 1/10 off. Look at the top 6. They're separated by a 10th. Is this F1's thoughts?
Nah, better.
I got to say, brilliant job from everyone. But is this Pete's first pole position of the season?
I think that's the bingo. Is that part? I think so. I'm looking at the bingo card. Yes, I think it is.
Wait, did the bingo say Pete will get pole?
No. repeat podium, no, my bad. So.
Oh, you give me good hope.
So. Okay, commentator's curse. So, Pete should hopefully get a podium from this starting in P1.
Oh, you said it now. You said it now. Don't blame me this time.
Jess, I'll let you go through the qualifying results.
Yeah, because we don't have long to go. So, we got Pete from Slenderman, from Dave, Panos, Matter, Flexi, Iceman, Kieran, Mike, then Tony. Those are your top 10. And we got Yuri, Hayden, Acorn, Lee, Kyle, Ryan Berry, Ahmed, Matt Ryan, Kev, and Newgarden. And the tyres for during qualifying won't matter, as Yuri said in the chat and what people said in the VSL chat. We have a red race, so that is another tick for your bingo card. And it looks like it's intermediate conditions, but we've got a few things to say first before we wait. We've got the drivers and constructors standings to go through, which I forgot to send to you, unless you have it to hand.
I've got them in the VSL Discord, so it's fine.
Brilliant. So do you want to go through it?
Which one would you like me to go through first, the standings or the constructors?
Drivers.
So, let me start. So we have Flexi first on 97 points, followed by Panos behind on 84. Then we've got a bit of a tight battle for P3. I think I'm looking at the wrong standings. Ignore me, I'm looking at the ones from last week.
Tut.
This is the ones from this week. I do apologise for I said anything. So, Sam, Flexi, 112 points to Panos, 109 points. And we have a tight battle for P3 to 6, with Ryan Berry leading it on 69 points, Cal 65, Matter 64, and Deck closely behind on 63 points. So Matter really needs to get a race win under his belt to get his championship sort of up and running once again. Quite a long season, so still a lot to go yet. Got Kieran in P7, Pete and Cliffy and Tony rounding off the top 10 standings, and we got Ben, who I think will be a little disappointed with his results, but he's got the pace to get a good result here. They're sitting in P11, and we got Casper P12. Kevruski, Hayden, Jamie, Yuri, Vitino, who I don't think is here tonight, Newgarden, Mike, and Risky in the top 20. And then going on to the second page, we have Lee, who's now slipped down onto the second page in 21st. So he'll be looking to try and get into the top 20 today. Ahmed, Matt Ryan, Dave, who's had a good qualifying, so he can get some points on the balls, currently sitting on 0 points. Maverick, Goodlip, Matt Jubitsa, Slenderman, and Delta round off the drivers' standings. So now we have the team standings. Again, tight battle again. Once again, we've got 5 teams already on 100 points, with McLaren topping it, with Williams closely behind on 147 to McLaren's 156. Alfa Romeo and Ferrari, the two or three Italian teams, sorry, I'm getting my words muddled up there. 132 and 119 for Ferrari. And then we have Alpine sitting there in P5, and we've got a little bit of a gap to Haas on 77. Aston Martin, Mercedes, Red Bull, and then got AlphaTauri still on 2 points. But we're looking at Dave to get a good result. I'm touching wood. Dave to get a good result and get AlphaTauri up and running, because Red Bull and AlphaTauri, 9th and 10th, that's not really good branding for them at all.
No, especially for Red Bull, because they used to be in the top of the standings usually in real life, and they're currently sitting in 9th position. So, not a good example. And AlphaTauri only on 2 points. So, I'm just trying to see who scored those 2 points, actually. I believe that was Matt Ryan. Yeah. So, his teammate not scoring any points, so Matt Ryan being the carrier, as it were. Obviously, Maverick, I don't believe, is here tonight. He hasn't even. I think it is Dave, and I believe they do score points for the constructors. So, AlphaTauri is looking to pretty much get off the mark and try and beat Red Bull in the constructors, but I think they would need both drivers to score really well in order to do that, so they will probably still be last afterwards. So we are waiting for the session to get underway, and we are going into the formation lap and what tyres have the game decided to put them on. It is the intermediate conditions. Now, the drivers haven't told me if it's going to be wet for the entire race or if it's going to be a wet to dry race. But what I've seen from Yuri in the chat, I think it's probably going to be like this for the whole race. But would it get worse? We don't know. It is typical British weather after all. But we usually go through at this point who's starting on what tyre, but we don't need to go through that because everyone is starting on the same tyre. But I think some drivers are probably slower in qualifying because they had a wet setup. But I wonder if some people forgotten to choose a wet setup, which is quite hard to do at times. And obviously some people haven't practiced in the wet. So we will see who's good in the wet and who's not. And let's hope we have a lot of drivers finishing today. Touch wood. I'm touching wood here, which is my desk in front of me. You probably can hear it. But Pete on pole. And we have 2 reserves in the top 3. And the next full-time driver is Panos in P4. He is looking to be ahead of Flexi after the end of this race. And they're very close. So, obviously, if Panos, if it was to stand as things stand as it were, Panos, I believe, would be leading the championship because they are the class of the field, those two. But that will be an interesting fight. And as it stands, Mata will be ahead of Kyle as Lee has been disqualified from the formation lap.
Typical Lee. Sorry, I find it because I always talk to Lee outside of VSL, and yeah, it'll be fun to see what he says later on.
Yeah, he's probably going to hate us for it, but who cares? Who cares? And one thing I forgot to say, actually, which I will say a little bit in a second. I usually remember to say it, but I forgot this week. Check out our sponsors, Rogue Energy. I won't have time to get the sponsor slide out. I will do that at the end. You could use the code VSL F1 for 10% off. Ooh. And you could go on to their website, rogueenergy.com, to check out their bundles as well. So check it out. They sponsor us for this season. And I will get the slide at the end of the race because we don't have time to do it now. But just got it in there before the race starts. Good timing. That is brownie point for the both of us. Thank you very much. So I think we're just waiting for the last 2 people to get onto the grid. I think everyone has got onto the grid very quickly. So no holding up from all the drivers here today. It's going to be, I think, quite an intense race because nobody knows what the strategy is. We don't know what the strategy is. They're probably going to do even stints on the inters. The 5 red lights are coming on. Pete on pole, Slenderman alongside. And we are underway. Who's going to get the decent start? The both of them. And I think we got a few people that's had a bit of a slide. Slenderman has had a pretty decent start into Abby. Pete not so much, but he goes into second place. We had a huge contact in the background. Mato as well has had a bit of a spun around. Kieran has had a bit of an off as well. Apart from that, they seem to be managing turn 3 okay, and now heading towards turn 4 into the Wellington Straight. Now the slow speed corner. Slenderman getting the edge on lap 1 already with Pete in second. Sam moves up to third.
In front of Panos, really important as well. What happened to Panos at the start? And Sam had an absolute rocket up start, but reserve driver Slenderman wanted to get a good result and prove maybe why he deserves a full-time seat and not be in reserve. With this pace, who knows?
Yeah, obviously they're reserved for a reason. I think we've got like 6 or 7 reserves at the moment. Absolutely crazy at the moment. So great stuff from everybody. As we've got Lee and we've got a bit of a contact into Maggots and Beckett's. That was interesting to tell you the truth, as that almost got squeezed there from Lee, and they won't be using too much of their battery in the rain, and they can concentrate on the racing. Here comes Deck, trying to go for a move in into Stowe as Lee covers him off there, and he's up into Lee. Well, Lee is up into P15.
Who's that?
Who's that? That was Mike, who's had a bit of a spin into the final corner. Well, penultimate corner anyway.
Oh dear.
Not good.
Already a lap gone. Dave didn't have a good start. He's down in P5. But have we actually mentioned we've got a full grid today?
I did mention at the start of the stream that,
Oh, wow.
I did mention at the start of the stream we've
Oh,
got
Panos.
Panos, I think, has dropped a bit from Sam, so that is not good. But the two McLarens are working together as well, in second and third place right now, so they're looking good in terms of the constructors, as obviously Matt was alluding to earlier on in the stream, of course. Matt has now dropped down to 17th, but Kieran was in the pit. Matt Ryan is being chased by Matter into Cop's corner. Late lunge, I would say, but don't forget these drivers won't have DRS at all in the wet conditions. They will just rely on the beautiful slipstream, which sometimes it works, sometimes it does not. And they got to manage their tyre temperatures as well. But it seems like both of them are doing okay with that one. And we're looking at positions gained as well, if I can get that up on my screen. Apologies for the stream getting technical difficulties. It seems to be dropping frames at the moment. But Sam has gained 3 places. Hayden's gained 6. And quite a few spinners again, actually. And Carl's gained 6 as well as Ahmed. Ahmed up to 11. And don't forget, top 12 do score points in VSL. So plenty to fight for. And if you get the fastest lap anywhere, you also get 2 points added to your championship total, which could make the difference to either winning the championship or losing the championship. Has another yellow flag. That is Red Bull. That is Yuri. No, it's not Yuri. Oh, it is Yuri. Okay.
Think of letting Sam go, because Sam is getting closer and closer, like on the corners. So I don't know if he feels Sam wants to go past the McLaren, but Pete wants to get a good result here, so it's sort of a tricky one.
Yeah, I'm almost certain Pete wants a bit of redemption, and obviously in France, remember, he was on for a good result and he got involved in some spins. But I wonder if there's going to be team orders. A team boss, I think, at McLaren are probably looking at their team members and their drivers thinking, what on earth is going on? Do they think they're going to keep it on the road? We'll have to find out very shortly, as we're now heading towards lap 4. Top 3 still close, same with Panos and Dave as well, even though Dave lost 2 places off the start. Dave is still performing, I have to say, really, really well. And
Sam goes down the inside of Pete.
Here they go then, going for a move into the I almost forgot what corner it is. Turn 3 and 4, heading towards the Wellington Straight.
Literally pushing Pete around that corner there.
Yeah, I have to say, they're doing a great job so far, making sure that they give it every element so far. As I think they're still going to go side by side, actually. This could be the move of dreams here. Pete could lose out to Sam, his teammate. And they don't want any of the drivers to lose out here. And Pete retakes P2.
He does not know if Sam does the switchback going into Maggots, who is going to come out on top here. Number 2 McLaren are still going side by side. Oh my god, the team bosses will be absolutely ripping their hair out of what's left of it. Anyway, Pete, does he back out? He has to yield, but he's got the slipstream and down the hanger straight. Oh, that was a bit late from Sam there.
Panos as well is going to be free abreast. Free abreast. Someone has to back off. Someone has got to back off, surely. But Panos and Dave. Where did Dave come from? Pete lost it there for some weird reason. And Dave is up to 4th. Panos up to 3rd. And all because of this teammate squabblery, or however you say that word. As I did see someone get the fastest lap. Lee getting the first time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Not a track limit warning though, so Zennerman has got that. Same with Iceman. They must have got it a few laps ago, I believe. And what about that we're seeing between Flexi, Panos, Dave, Pete, and look at Iceman, he's on the back of this
Dave lost the
too.
rear. So yeah, Dave lost the rear and Pete's now got a run. Is he going to get squeezed out onto the curb? No, he does not, but no, Dave. Got a lot of grip on the outside, gets pushed wide there, but as he's gone off the track, if he overtakes, can Pete argue he gained an advantage here?
Oh!
No, he can't. Oh, Pete. Oh, he'd be absolutely furious. And like what happened before, I was going to go back to the incident that happened at Stowe when there were 3 abreast. He clipped the inside curb and yeah, he lost a lot of grip, but that's not ideal for Pete. And again, yeah, commentator's curse.
Yeah, another bingo card if you're watching and you are ticking off your bingo sheets. We seem to be ticking off a lot of bingo cards tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Can we actually get someone getting a full line here? Because we've never got a full line, but there we go. We'll see, but it is first come, first served after all. Yeah, is Pete gonna pit? I think he probably will have to.
Is it still mandatory to stop?
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
It is, I believe. They can try and get the Indus to the end, but ideally it's just a one stop. As Pete, goes in. He's got to with that damaged front wing. Oh no! Adding was results in injury. That's unfair. That is unfair because he was going into the pit lane. That's a bit harsh, Gain. Come on.
Just a new garden, wasn't it?
No, it was Pete. He got that drive through, I think. I don't know. I don't even know.
Nah, I think it was New Garden.
Oh, it was New Garden. So, that's happened to me around Silverstone, I think, a few seasons ago in another league, and I was just not paying attention, and boom, I got a drive through. You just lose concentration sometimes around this track, and that's where you tend to lose it. Oh, the 2 Red Bulls are going side by side into Luffield now, and actually, no, it's not the 2 Red Bulls. It's a Red Bull and a Haas. It's hard to tell with the helicopter shot right now. Mike gets advantage of New Garden for now, but he does get a penalty. Why did he extend? He must have gone off the curb a little bit.
Yeah, he was on the straight, and for some reason he went off all wheels off the track. So it's a bit of a silly penalty to get that from Mike, but still a long race, still a lot of the race to go. We're only on lap 6 out of 26, so it's going to be a long one tonight, I think.
Yeah, it is going to be a long one, but obviously, since it's raining and typical British weather style, it likes to throw a bit of wetterness so far. And probably that means that we're going to probably see...
Oh, Kev.
Because Kev is...
New Garden's got drive-through, hasn't he? So. Yeah,
New Garden has got a drive-through, so you'll have to, unfortunately, serve that. And Lee gets another 3-second time penalty as well. He's in last place. And I wonder if we will see a safety car. We've seen a VSC, but we haven't seen a someone almost went off there.
No, it's not me. I've just seen on the bingo car at least one drive-through penalty, and New Garden got the drive-through penalty.
Ouch.
Sorry, that was a... sorry, I made it sound like someone spun. That's just me getting excited over something stupid.
That is honestly fine. The passion that obviously we have in the commentary box is second to none right now. So that's why we like commentating. As Dave was lagging a little bit on my screen. It might just be just me at the moment with the way my internet is behaving tonight. Apologies. But here comes Iceman, who's gained a lot of position so far. Looking to redeem himself. He's only currently sitting on how many points? I don't know how many points he's actually got at the moment. As Deck gets a penalty. New Garden is on the back of Lee. Yellow flag. Ah. New Garden spun to add. Resolves injury, unfortunately.
I don't know what happened there. I saw Lee lose the rear, but did his rear sort of twitch into the path of New Garden? I don't know. I don't know if New Garden lost it himself. I'll have to wait and see on that one. But it was a nice move around the outside from Lee, nevertheless. But hopefully there wasn't any contact. Just have to wait and see.
Yeah. And just to say as well, the last few weeks we've had nothing reported to the stewards. And I thought we were going to be quite busy last week looking at stewards' reports, but it turns out there was nothing in the Austria stewards' report, which I couldn't really believe because there was quite a few incidents on track. I'm guessing a few people were keeping themselves to themselves and decided that they did not want to report the incident, which is fair enough. As Pete gets fastest lap so far of the race, 1:37.938. I would say that's very respectable in the wet. That's more than what I could do in quali on the intermediate conditions. So that shows how fast these drivers are around here. That's why I'm in the box and not racing against these guys, because I'll probably be lower down anyway. But Iceman could go for the move on Dave again. Panos, this could be huge if it comes down to it. If Panos fights for the race win, like the Flexi and Dave have no penalties, so they could jump way up the field. So for Dave, that's not looking good. Well, the LA is looking good for Dave, but not looking good for Panos. So he's going to try and get past Flexi and to try and get rid of that deficit that he has at the moment. In terms of time penalties, Panos sits the fastest lap, but Slenderman, Panos, Iceman, Akon, they all have 3 seconds. Mike has 6 seconds and Lee has 8 seconds. Obviously, Newgarden had his drive-through penalty, but no track limit warnings. And we have, I think, Newgarden who's spun again. And he's 50 seconds. He's getting lapped already. I'm on lap 9. So he's just got to plough on, really. And we want 20 cars to finish the race, so go on, Newgarden. Finish the race. We want to try and see if we can get 20 cars finishing VSL, but we'll see. As we got another yellow flag. As we've got
Newgarden, isn't it?
Nope, it's not Newgarden. It was, I think, through Wellington Straight sort of area, so it might have it might have been, I don't know. Not entirely sure, but Ahmed is looking good in 10th, 2 tenths behind Mata. So he's looking to make some inroads so far. The rain seems pretty stable. McLaren, that's Pete. That is Pete. His race is going, and he's been disqualified. The game didn't give him enough time to respond, did it?
Seriously? He was just trying to come back onto the track.
To add result to injury, his day has gone from bad to worse to not in the race anymore.
Safety car? Or? Yeah, I'm not surprised, Pete. I'd be livid. I'm going to say it happened in a race, but this was on F1 2020 where there was an incident. No, actually, no, it was VSL. It was the first race, wasn't it, on 2020 around Britain. There was an incident at the precise corner where Slenderman is right now.
You were in the box then, I believe. You were in the box.
I don't think I wasn't, but I was actually on the track, I think, last season.
Do you mean the first game on F1 2020? That was season 5. I wasn't in VSL at the time.
Oh, right, no, it wasn't. I think it was in the next season on 2020.
Oh, right. I can't remember. I literally can't remember. It is that long ago, folks. But yeah, I would be annoyed if I was Pete. So
yeah, basically, I lost a rear, and then I got an 80-second time penalty.
Oh, yeah. I definitely remember because I said it in the chat. I said it in the stream. I was like, that was a bit unfair. I'll try and get that clip and I'll share it to you. I was absolutely disgusted, I think I remember.
Yeah.
I was...
it got restarted, didn't it?
And I think Risky was in the box as well. He's not here tonight, though.
No.
He's not racing, but he did make a... I think because he was waiting for his wheel or something, so... He just made a guest appearance in a box because he felt sorry for me being alone.
Oh, bless him.
So, but we had fun. Just like we're having fun here tonight. Not much overtaking at the moment. I think some of these guys are just keeping it cautious at the moment as Ryan Berry picks himself a time penalty. Ryan Berry currently sitting 3rd in the standings. And I do remember Ryan Berry and Deck have got a bet going on. Because they did remind me earlier on in the week that whoever finished... Basically, they have a bet on whoever finishes ahead of each other. So, Ryan Berry thinks he'll finish ahead of Deck, and Deck, or vice versa, Deck thinks he'll finish ahead of Ryan Berry this season. But at the moment, it is Ryan Berry at the moment, so Deck won't be too happy that Ryan Berry's currently in front, but Deck's probably going to hope that Ryan Berry's tyres are currently falling under the edge of the cliff, but we don't know what the tyres are going to be. Add that to the game, Co-Masters, about tyre wear, please. That'll be brilliant, so we can see the temperatures. Because we used to be able to do that on F1 2017, I believe, but they got rid of it, which I don't know why. Frustrating. And I think we were able to see damage. I don't even know. But as Tony almost had a bit of a slide there going through the old pitch straight. That was very close. It is the start of the tyres starting to wear out a bit. I think it might be.
They're sliding around like that, no wonder they will be having to pit, but then we got Kyle. If they do pit, they'll still come out in front of Kyle. I wonder if Kyle had another moment.
He must have done. I think
Sorry, go on.
I think Kyle might be struggling out there as well. Another driver who I thought was going to do well today, and I think he's falling under the radar, and he's having quite a dismal race so far. And
he surprised me. I thought he'd have a lot more pace, really, but he's been struggling. Even just generally this season, he's just not been on par.
Yeah, don't forget he was fighting for the championship with Mata last season, but this season he's nowhere. It's just like the two championship protagonists are just like nowhere to be seen. But even though they're higher in the championship, they're nowhere near the likes of Panos and Sam. Even the likes of, obviously, Mata is probably ahead of them as well. I don't even know. But there's still plenty of race to go. We're doing the full season, don't forget, which is lasting till, is it January, February time?
I think so.
So it's going to last until 2022, because obviously we still got to race the two new tracks of Portimao and Imola, replacing Sochi and Singapore.
Kyle spun it.
Kyle spun and Yuri's in the pits.
No, it's Mike. I do apologise. Sorry, it is Mike.
It's hard to tell with, obviously, that the Red Bull looking very similar to the Haas in the game now.
Panos picks up another penalty.
Panos, yes, does pick up another penalty. So is he up to 6 seconds? Yes, yeah. 6 seconds. So that's going to put Slenderman in a very decent position. Same with Dave. Same with Iceman.
Oh, Sam. Cheeky.
Sam, very cheeky indeed. But Sam goes into the pits. And that was what I would have expected people to do in the drives, but a little bit later. So I think Sam's going in a bit earlier than intended, but they can do it. They can last from the end from here, so Sam is going to go for the risk. But will the drivers stay out until the end, or will they follow suit? We will find out very shortly. Don't forget, this is the longest pit lane lost time on the calendar, almost 30 seconds. So if you get your pit stop right, and the undercut, and you don't slide like that, as Sam just did, then you'll be on to a winner there. So Sam comes out and rejoins. Oh, he's got some traffic. I was going to say, let's hope he doesn't get past, have some traffic to deal with. He's got Matt Ryan. So, and
I think he'll pass him easily here.
Yeah, he will, with the fresher grip. But it's going to take a long time for the tyres to warm up. So I think he's going to struggle a little bit. Oh, Jesus. That was close from Sam and Matt Ryan. But Flexi is up to 11th on the road. And
what does Slenderman and Panos do there in response to this?
Slenderman's got a penalty.
I
didn't see where he got it, but whilst I was on board with Flexi with his lap, Slenderman got a penalty. And he followed Flexi in a lap later. He's in. Will Panos go in? Yes. Dave, will he go in? It's going to be like a chain reaction. Everyone that I think's going in. Hayden as well. No. Hayden was thinking about it, but I think he wanted trap position. Tony stays out. Ryan stays out. He's in a battle with Mata as well behind, which is looking pretty tasty. Same with Ahmed too. And Acorn's in. And let's watch Sam. This is going to be crucial pit stops for Slenderman. Will Flexi get ahead? Where's Slenderman now? He's come out of the pits. Flexi will be miles ahead, I think. Oh, no, I was wrong. I did underestimate the pit exit. But Slenderman comes out of the race lead, but Sam has cut Flexi's... no, not... My bad. It's been a long day, folks. Flexi has cut Slenderman's lead by quite a bit. So, Flexi doing a great job out there with his pit stop. And Kieran is having a battle with Deck. Deck with the fresher tyres. It should be an easy move for him, maybe. That still leaves half the drivers yet to make their first stop. That's Hayden, Tony, Ryan Berry, Matta, Ahmed, Kev, and Mike. That is 7 drivers out of the 19. And we lost Pete due to a disqualification, an unfair disqualification, I have to say. But Acorn's finding it hard to get past Kieran right now.
Yeah, and without the DRS, it's just even harder, and Slipstream just doesn't seem to be that strong as Matter comes into the pits now. I wonder if Hayden and Ryan Berry are waiting for a VSC or something, as we have a yellow flag in the last corner. Will we have a VSC? No, we don't. I think it's just a driver slowing down into the pits.
Yeah, that is Panos. No, it's not Panos. It's Ahmed who goes into the pits. Matta's in. Tony's in. Hayden and Ryan Berry stay out, though.
Interesting.
That is a bit of a shock right now. But they're going to struggle near the end if they want to make it to the end. But another yellow flag. Again, that's probably people slowing down into the pits. That's New Garden. And we also got Ahmed coming out of the pits. So where is he going to come out of? Is Deck going to be ahead? Just about. So Deck is ahead of Ahmed.
Outside of Ahmed.
Lee and Ahmed fighting for P15. Yeah, P15. Lee getting the better traction. Lee could make those tyres last very well to the end. So we don't have that long to go until the end of the race. Don't forget Lee pitted earlier on due to damage, which could not ruin his chances, to be honest. He's doing quite well with a good comeback so far. Dave currently sitting in 8th. He's lost a lot of time in the pits. But we still have Kev, Kyle, Ryan Berry and Hayden potentially still to pit unless they want to make it to the end. Ryan Berry goes in now. Hayden stays out. Slenderman with another penalty. That's music to Flexi's ears. Kev stays out. Kyle stays out. What about Mike? Well, we won't know what Mike does for a while. As Slenderman sets the fastest lap of the race. Mike stays out then. And Kieran will probably stay out too. Yep, he does.
Thing is, though, like the second fastest laps, the same time they get a 3-second time penalty for track limits. Now, technically, should that be invalidated?
I thought that should be deleted, like in real life, right?
Yeah, it used to do that, but for some reason now it doesn't do that anymore. So, for example, if a driver just completely cuts every single corner and they're last, they can just get the fastest lap, which I think we need to sort of do something about that.
Yeah, I think that's something that should be fixed. In a patch or something, that if you get a time penalty, the lap time that you do whilst you get that track limit, you get invalidated. Same with you getting a warning as well. If you get a warning on a lap, you should get your lap time invalidated. That should be
Kieran.
As Kieran gets past Deck, maybe, and we do have a yellow flag, but let's ignore that for the time being. This is an understeery part of the track, so these two have got to... Oh, they make a bit of contact. Not much contact. They're still hanging it on the road. And Kieran stays ahead, but that was almost close to contact. But with them keeping on the road, show how much respect they have for each other. And is that Kieran letting Deck through? Yeah, that is Kieran letting Deck through. If that's sportsmanship, fair play to Kieran there.
Oh, well, this is a great thing about this. Everyone sort of gets along as well. If everyone knows I was a bit too aggressive, they're like, yeah, sure, fair enough. Because like half of them are in a PlayStation party anyway, so they're all talking to each other. Anywho, but yeah, as we're going, whilst that battling was happening, Panos has picked up another penalty. I think he's got 12 seconds. No, he's not. He's got 9 seconds worth of penalties. Slenderman on 6, Kev on 3. So if Kyle keeps within Kev, Rusky, and Panos, Kyle could end up on the podium here.
Yellow flag, that's Kev!
Kev.
We talk about Kev and he spins. How many commentators curses have we done today?
Kev, he spun again.
How many commentators curses have we done? Pretty much 1 million.
Kev won't spin again now, surely.
No, don't you dare, don't you dare do that, Kev. Don't you dare do that. Ahmed getting a 3-second time penalty. I thought this track is not as hard to invalidate, but in the wet it seems to be more people running wide and getting penalties. Only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 drivers out of the ones still running in this race yet to pick up a time penalty. I wonder if they're close to warnings. Hayden's still leading and he's still staying out. He's got a good gap, but if Slenderman does not catch up and if Hayden could get those tyres to the end, stop the count, Hayden could actually win this race. He could actually...
No.
I'm not saying anything. I'll shut up from there.
Right, what I was going to say is even if Hayden just lets Slenderman through, he's got the 6-second penalty. It's just really Flexi to contend with now. I think Hayden really, if he's going to... If his tyres hold on, top 3 will be a great result for him. Like, where did he start here? He started... Oh, he's up 11 positions. Kyle up 10 positions, you know. Tricky one to pick for driver of the day, really, but we'll have to let it go to a vote.
Yeah, I think we had 2 drivers last week. It was Kev and Deck. At the moment, well, if Hayden's still yet to pit, I would definitely put, obviously, Kyle. And I think maybe Dave as well for actually getting some points for AlphaTauri. But he's got a lot to catch. It's hard. Thankfully, we're not the ones making the decision. It's obviously the viewers.
Could that be a VSC?
A VSC. And there was a battle for P8, but they're having to back up. That ended that battle. And unfortunately, one of the bingo cards saying both of the Red Bull school will score points, but that kind of ruins that, unfortunately.
No safety car again in oh my gosh, in VSL again. Oh, Jesus. I'm thinking
we had a VSC. Does that count?
It's not really a full course yellow, though, is it?
And it is set to increase like Jacko car, so I'm really shocked. Well, the damage is set to the standard, so... Oh, here comes Tony. Tony to the right-hand side in Stowe. Is he going to make the line that he wants to? Is he going to make it stick? He does. Tony's up to 9th place.
Ryan Berry come down the inside.
Whoa. Ryan Berry, unfortunately the camera didn't do it justice, but Ryan Berry up to 10th and they're still going side by side. The Alpine managing director will probably be closing their eyes at the moment. Oh, that might be a late move. Going past Abbey into farm. And oh my, this is great stuff from the Alpine drivers.
Oh gosh.
And I think Ryan Berry has the edge. Ryan Berry up 7 positions. Up into 9th position. Slenderman's gap to Hayden, 8.9 seconds. Panos, 3-second time penalty. That is 12 seconds. If there is a safety car, Panos is going to hope there's going to be none, because if there is, he's going to miss out on huge points. So I think obviously Carl now will inherit P4 from Panos because of the gap, but if Carl is losing time to Panos, he probably won't. Dave will probably have a chance to catch up as well. This is turning on his head before we speak at the moment.
Thing is though, if Hayden was to pit, you look at that gap between Ben and Matter, I think he'd slot in between, maybe just in front of Matter. If he was to pit, I think there's is it 26 seconds the pit lane?
I think it's 26 to 30. I can't remember at the top of my head.
Yeah, so you may just come out in front of Matter or Ryan Berry, sort of in the middle there. But the Slenderman almost loses the rear as he tries to gain on Hayden. I think Hayden's just finding a flow at the moment. The tyres starting to look a bit sorry for themselves, but you know, I just hope. Oh, I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah, we're not going to say anything at the moment, but this is shaping up to be a great end into the race. Make sure you stay tuned. And I think F1 Esports has ended, so you tune into the right place at the moment here at VSL for PlayStation, of course. And Flex is running out of ERS at the moment, so he's dangerously on the cusp of losing a bit of ground, even though he's pushing to Slenderman at the moment. What about Panos? Panos is on 54, so Panos would have a huge advantage despite the pens. Carl's on 38 to 40, Dave's on 52, so Dave's in well. Iceman is on 76, and we've got a retirement of Kev.
He's in the pit lane.
He's in the pit lane, so there'll be no safety car. So I think he's probably had enough, Kev. So we're down 3 drivers, we're down to 17. Lee's on 14 seconds worth of penalties. That is a lot, but Iceman looks like he's going to have a huge advantage on Dave into the final few corners, but with no DRS, this may not help Iceman get past the AlphaTauri driver. A little bit of a slide for not Iceman though, so this may not help him too much, but he has the ERS to his disposal. But he's got to make sure that he doesn't use too much overtake to derate across the line, so he's got to manage that perfectly as well. And I'm just seeing if anyone else is not yet to make their first stop.
Yeah, almost lost it there, and that's going to allow the Ferrari to bleed through up to be dead. But Kieran is not having any of that. Sticks it around the outside.
Iceman, I think, is going to get past Dave. No, he does not. So Kieran almost had a bit of a moment there. So that was close for him so far. Mike is the only other driver who has yet to box, but he's under pressure from depth behind, and it's going to be tough, so we'll see what Mike can do. Because obviously Haas are doing a lot better in VSL than in real life, aren't they? So
for sure, I think anyone can say that.
Definitely. So Mike, to be fair, Mike's did a great job on these inters, but it must be time, because I think I'm just trying to remember. I'll look at my data as to, because obviously the intermediates are meant to last the same amount of time as the mediums, which is 19 laps. If anyone can make it last the whole race, then fair play. And I was about to swear, but I'm not going to be doing that.
Not like, yeah.
As Mike has lost a bit of time to Tony, so, but Deck is not catching, so this could be interesting. Only got a few more laps to go. And I don't think we're going to get a safety car because of the amount of laps we've got left in this race. So, it's just going to come down to pure pace. Kyle, unless Powers gets another penalty, Kyle will stay P5. And I'll probably just jinx myself there as we got a spin, and that's Deck.
Oh, Deck.
Deck, who had a podium last week. His fortune is turned upside down this week.
Then now Matt Ryan is going to get Deck here because Acon's tyres, Deck's tyres will be overheated. Does Matt Ryan go down the inside? He does. Deck, does he defend? No, he has the traction on the outside and he retains P15. Deck will be kicking himself.
Yeah, he probably will as well. He's down in 15th. But if I were him, I would box. Try and go for the fastest lap point. And you can get 2 points, because that will be better than a dismal 0. And I think that if I was Matt Ryan, I would do the same. Yuri, maybe Lee as well. Actually, no, not Lee, because he's so close to points. But penalties may make a difference. Panos could be on the back of Flexi anytime soon, but he's dropped a little bit, even though it may not make a difference. Slenderman's now gap to Hayden is 4.7 seconds. Let us know in the chat, guys. Do you think Hayden's Inters will make it to the end? Yes or no?
Yes. I mean,
Red
yeah,
Nat
let
says
you side
yes.
that out.
I say maybe. But I was
That's
able to make Inters last almost the whole race at Portimao. So if I could do it, Hayden I think could do it around Silverstone, where the tyre wear is a lot less important than obviously Portimao. So I think Hayden can do it. But the question is, does he have the pace? And the last few laps must be running down very, very slowly right now. I don't think he has to do a stop. I think, obviously, if the tyres could get to the end, he can stay out. I will need to double check with the admins about that. But as we got another yellow flag, that is Yuri. Oh, he's hit the curb. And he's spun. He's already a lap down anyway.
Deck spun as well.
And Deck at a different place on the circuit. Wow. Deck's got a 10-second time penalty for exceeding track limits.
That's not.
And and you're not meant to retire on track.
Oh dear.
Time penalty, I think, for Deck. Because I don't think you're meant to do that.
Oh, Slenderman.
Slenderman's got another penalty. So surely, I'm not going to say anything, but we are about to witness history. Someone could be about to win this race with being on those tyres for the whole race, but I'm not going to say anything. But the one who has the best chance to win this race out of anyone in the grid is Flexi, I think. He has no penalties, he has the freshest tyres, his pace is looking good. If any of the top two make a mistake, it's Flexi's for the taking. Kyle could be on. Panel's got another penalty as well, so as long as Kyle closes in and keeps within just under 15 seconds, he could get P4. Dave could get P5. Maybe Dave could get P5, but still, Dave could be on for some good points for AlphaTauri, which AlphaTauri have been waiting for so long.
Look at the front left of Hayden's tyre. Absolutely horrendous. He'll be just try and keep it off the curves.
It's like he's doing like a Lando Norris. I think Slenderman's going to catch up.
Ooh.
And don't forget, penalties as well. You can tell he's crawling in some of the corners. You can tell he's not pushing it too much. And Slenderman is pushing. Fastest lap of the race so far. 1:36.630. And the laps are counting down. I don't think Hayden has won a race on this game. I don't think. Honest, I'm trying to say things to not make it a commentator's curse. I'm trying to prove people wrong that you can say nice things and it could get a good result. So, come on, Hayden. Prove me wrong. As we do have a yellow flag. As Hayden did have a bit of a twitch there. Oh, Flexi had a bit of a slide there into exit Woodcote. But it looks like Flexi will be on for P2 at least. But he knows that the race win is still within his grasp, so he's probably going to push anyway. This is a race on strategy. This is a race on strategy right here. And Hayden has gained 4 temps on Slenderman this lap. How?
Panos.
And Panos gets another penalty. That's P4 confirmed for Kyle. That is P4 confirmed.
Wow. Look
Touch
at Ben
wood.
there in the back of Dave.
Ben's looking good, even though he's got that time penalty. Ben will jump up anyway, I think, due to Panos' penalty.
Dave is low on ERS. This is the moment for Ben, I think, is it? Yeah, look, Dave is completely out of ERS. 1% ERS to Ben's, 56? I think Dave's going to have to accept the defeat here. That's Ben up into P6 now. Can Ben clear him by 3 seconds? Just have to wait and see. That's a big ask, but we're on the final lap now. Hayden's still in first place. Can his tyres hang on there? Yep, I've said that. And Slenderman behind him on 9 seconds worth of penalties. So
Hayden just needs to keep it on the road. Even Slenderman could get past him at this point.
Are we going to see a Lewis Hamilton-esque finish here?
I think we could. We are about to witness history, ladies and gentlemen. Hayden doesn't even have... He's not even using that much ERS, but he's pushing now because he knows that Slenderman is catching. Kieran's got a penalty. I don't want to look at the warnings right now. I want to ask Hayden what his tyres are at the end of this race. Because Hayden... I want to say more good things about him, but I'm scared. I'm literally scared for him. This is a moment that everyone has dreamed of. Hayden is going to remember this for the rest of his life. He in the last few laps must be very nervous. His heart rate must be going a million miles an hour. But we're about to witness, for the first time I'm thinking VSL history, a driver that wins a race that's been on these tyres since the start. He has not boxed for anything. Well, you don't need to in the wet conditions. Hayden comes across the line and takes his first VSL victory. Flexi comes across the line in P2. Slenderman gets on the podium. And I think it will be Kyle that takes P4. Because Panos has got so many penalties. But we've seen a winner that I didn't think I would expect. I wasn't expecting Hayden to win the race today, but he managed the tyres perfectly. He held on to the bitter end. Carl manages P4, Panos P5, Dave P6, Iceman P7, Matta P8, Ryan Berry P9, Tony P10. There's still people who will get a chance to get the fastest lap. So Mike P11, Kieran P12, and bins it across the line. Notice Kieran that doesn't get P12, Rami gets P11 and jumps both the Hasses. Lee P14, Matt Ryan P15, and we witness history. Congratulations to Hayden. I think everyone will remember their first victory. I'm sure Hayden will definitely remember this. And he gets drive of the day as well. If you guys don't vote Hayden as drive of the day on the polls later on tonight, then it's a fix. I'm sorry. He's driven fantastically today for managing to get those tyres from lap 1 to the finish. And if the stewards, if the admin doesn't allow this result to stand, then they don't have any polls. I think Hayden should get this win. So well done, Hayden. Well deserved.
Wow. Yeah, I genuinely thought his tail was going to blow up.
Oh, look at Hayden in the chat. He is delighted. Hayden, if you have your voice recording, the clip, can you send that reaction, put it on Twitter? Because I want to retweet it at the end of the stream. Because I like these kind of reactions. So Hayden, from 12 on the grid, wins. Flexi in second. Slenderman gets the 2 extra points for fastest lap and takes third. Carl in fourth. Panos fifth. Dave sixth. Iceman seventh. Matt at 8th. Ryan Berry 9th. Tony 10th. Ahmed 11th. Mike gets your final point. Then we got Kieran, Matt Ryan, Lee, and Yuri. Your final finishers and your retirements are Deck, Kev, Newgarden, and Pete. What a race. Wow. What a race. I have to say, Hayden was the driver of the day, but I've got honourable mentions to Kyle as well for starting 15th, finished 4th. Dave as well, even though he dropped a few positions, he hung in there and did a good comeback. Sentiment as well, finishing as, even though he didn't win the race, but he still did quite well. But if I have to nominate 2 drivers of the day, it'll have to be Kyle and Hayden, I would say. Those are my 2 nominations, I would say.
Yeah. I'm just have to say, team of the day, should we say Alfa Romeo?
Oh,
both
yes.
drivers driving for Alfa Romeo as well, so it'll be fantastic for the constructors for Alfa Romeo due to McLaren not finishing, as well as Williams having a bit of a poor week today as well. So this is good news for Alfa Romeo, and game on.
Where they can't, I don't know where they're sitting in the standings. I will have to double check. So before tonight, as I need to get the Google Drive open because I realised I had that shut. Oops. So that Alfa Romeo are currently sitting in 3rd. So they will probably jump Williams, I think. They will. Because obviously Det did not finish. So that's a huge result for Alfa Romeo. And Hayden, how many points for a win? Is it 25?
Think so, yeah.
So he will be on 40, 55. He will be in the top 10 in the standings. He would jump deck. He won't jump deck. He'll jump Kieran and Pete. And I'm almost certain he'll jump Tony as well. So yeah, he'll be, I think, 7th in the standings. So he will gain 7th position, and that is just crazy. That is just crazy. Well done to him. But I think next week, I need to remember where we are next week. I think it's Hungary, but I'll need to double check that.
Yeah, Hungary, you're right.
Yeah, I was right. There are so many leagues I commentate on, it's hard to know what track is next, but we are following the real life calendar, and we are hungry next week. Make sure you join us.
I'm hungry too.
To be honest, me too, I'm having a snack after this. I'm not even kidding. Make sure you join myself and Matt next week. And final plug for the sponsors. And Hayden's voice did not record. So we're not able to hear his reaction, unfortunately. But finally, check out our sponsor, VSL. No, VSL's not a sponsor. Rogue Energy's our sponsor. It's been a long day. Use the code VSLF1 for 10% off. You can go on their website, rogueenergy.com. I'm going to have a lie down because I'm absolutely knackered after that race. But it was a good race to commentate on. I've been JessGames95. Matt has been Red Matt. We will see you next week for the Hungarian Grand Prix, where probably we'll have more stuff to eat by then. Goodbye.